welcome everyone. In this video I just want to show you how to bend some aluminum 1-inch square tubing. And for this project I'm just stepping back from my pontoon project because I need to figure out how I'm going to bend this stuff. I didn't know if I was going to have to order doors because they're quite expensive. I really wanted to make them. I have all the equipment to do it except with the bender. So I need 4 doors for this. And my problem was figuring out how to make a nice clean bend with aluminum. So first off, just to give you a quick rundown, this is not annealed. I don't know if I spelled that right. And it cracks right there. See that? So this is annealed and it bent fine. And all I did this with was my my pipe bender. But I'm gonna make a little jig to make it easier, hold the sides better. And I had to set a piece of round bar on it to get this to crimp the inside, which helps. So we're gonna do that. So I'm gonna make this little jig. You don't have to. I'll show you how I just did it perfectly fine in my tubing bender, but I'm gonna have to do 4 doors, so that's 8 bends, and I just want the jig for future projects. So come over here and we'll make this and we'll do some bends and show you how it works. So this is just a generic pipe bender. Right now I got the 3/4 die in, which worked for me. I'm sure there's another die that would work. A bigger sweep, the radius would be better, but that's just the one I stuck with. So first, I got some 1/2-inch round bar. I think 3/8 would be a little bit better to stick in there. And I first bent that past 90 first. And the only thing it's really supposed to do is just to give this an initial crimp in there. So it folds this in and helps that bend a little bit easier. And as you can see on these boats, they are all like that. So these are factory bends, and as you can see, they're pushed in, they're crimped in, and that's just how they bend them. It's just makes it easier, reduce some stresses, I guess. And as you can see there, I just have that simply set right on there. And then once it's annealed, all I did was simply set my square tubing right in on top of that. Put that down there a little bit to wherever your bend wants to be. And this is very crude, but it worked. So if that's all you're looking for, I literally just have it setting on top of my my round bar, and it's not even really touching the sides of my my die, but it worked great. So that's all you're looking for, great. But I want something a little neater, so that's what I'm gonna do. So the biggest thing is make sure you anneal it, and I'm gonna show you how I did that. So unfortunately, to bend most aluminum, because aluminum, what will happen is it'll age harden, and then that leads to cracking, and especially with this extruded stuff, it's even worse. So unfortunately, what you have to do, you gotta have a torch, and first thing all you do is you soot this up all the way around like that. It's all black and soot. Turn your oxygen back on. And you're simply gonna heat this up till that black soot goes away. Let it completely cool. That's just for demonstration. I'd probably do a wider distance. I don't think you need to, but I do it just in case. So if that's gonna be your bend, heat that whole thing up and let it completely cool, and then you're good to bend it. So all I'm gonna do here is just bend my flat bar. I took these dies out just because I'm bending flat bar, and this is a 1.5 by 1/4 flat bar. I'm just gonna scarcely set it on those edges there. And this is just to bend it. This is just a one-time thing to make this die. All right, so I got that bent, and I over bent it purposely past 90. So, because normally when you're bending anything, pipe, tubing, even this stuff, it's got a lot of spring back. So I want enough room that I can overbend it so that it springs back to 90 degrees. So next step. So I just need to hug the sides of my my aluminum, and I'm not going to go all the way in. I'm just going to bring it to the top side of the. I'm really only going to bring it up to about 7/8. So I'm going to bring it up there, and I'm just going to trace my curve right there. And I don't need to come the full way either. I'm going to come about there and about there. So I'm going to cut out 2 of those and simply weld it to this. The next step is just make my post to fit into my die, and I'm going to put little ears on it, because as I bend this, say if aluminum is probably not going to do anything, but if I'm doing steel, mild steel, I could actually start bending this or breaking the weld on my post. So I'm going to put some ears on it too. So I've got a piece of pipe in here. I don't know what size it is, but I gotta drill the center out to 3/4 and then ream it out a little bit. The measurement I got on the pipe bender post that you put your dies on was 780 thou, so it's just over 3/4. So I assume it's metric. So I'm probably gonna take it to 800. All right, there we go. So I'm just gonna take that, cut that off, and then we're gonna weld that to the curved piece. So right now I've got my my machine part in there. I've got my round piece, and I just put a piece of flat bar in there, brought it up to my pin so I know that it's gonna be straight in there. So I'm gonna give it a good 4 tacks all the way around. Take it out, weld it, and then we'll weld our sides on. All right, so I've got that piece tacked on there. Gonna bring it up to my side rails, try to find center there. I'm putting a cutoff wheel on there, just to space, give it a little space there, and then we'll do that. Now I'll tack this side, flip it over, keep all those spaces in there, tack the other side, and then I want some little gussets in here to keep that from bending. Alright, so here's the finished product. Gussets there. Then I took a 1/4 inch round bar. All I did was tack it here and gradually bend it down with some vice grips, tacked it there. That's good enough. Now let's give her a test. And I've got 2 measurements here. That's where I'm going to actually put the center of it. And I'm going to see my center to center after, once those legs are bent, to just give me my radius. Right there. Make sure it's pretty straight. Now let's bend it. Okay, I have that overbent by a little bit and it should spring back. One thing I'd like to do though, I don't know if this will be consistent all the time, but okay, so I have that bent a little over 90. When I take it off, it should bounce back. So all I want to do is get a measurement on the bottom here. And I have 2 5/16. I'm gonna mark that down. Take it out, see what it does. See how close to 90 it is. And no, it needs to go a little more. But as you can see, it did actually a real nice crimp on the inside. It dug up a little bit just from where it's sliding in my tacks or whatever, but that's fine. It didn't, the walls bowed out just a little bit until it touched the sides there, and the outside isn't cracked or stress cracked or anything like that. So pretty happy with how well that worked already. And take that to 2 1/4 to the bottom side of this flat bar. Right there. And I'm pretty much measuring on the high side of this. This is mainly so I can remember and go back to this video. So 2 1/4 from the high side of this bent piece to the bottom side of that flat bar. Because your machine is probably going to be different. Oh my, that's nice. So keeping that there. That is pretty bang on from what I can tell. I have a little dent here, so I'm not paying attention to that. That's just where my rollers were. So, and I'm all right with that, I guess. So, but yeah, check that out. Real nice on the outside. Got your crimp on the inside. Some scuffs on it, but I can polish that up. So I'm gonna change that to 2 1/4. Now let's flip around, put it in, put it on that mark, bend it, and then I'm gonna measure the center to center, see what 15 at my bend marks turns into. So then I can just do some math and figure that out. So this one didn't go as planned because I realized I brought my measurement in and I didn't anneal this part. You can see the soot still on there. This part's fine. This part was fine because I annealed all that. You can see my black soot there and ended the black soot. And then of course, right here, you can see I cracked it on the inside, and you can actually see where I annealed it versus where I didn't. So I think that's a great indication and an example of the purpose of annealing aluminum, to make it softer. So don't forget to do that. Make sure you do it right. And you can even see right there at the line, it started to crimp in, started to cave in, I guess. And yeah, so make sure you anneal it. I usually take it, I usually burn it till the soot disappears and a little more. So I'll have to do, you can see in the crack there as well. So, and on this, I can't see a crack anywhere. So this one turned out because I properly annealed it. The other side didn't. So yeah, that's the idea of it. I wish I could have got an actual measurement on this, so I know what my radius is and how it actually bends and all that stuff, how much it stretches and all that. But yeah, the only other thing I'm noticing, if I have a longer piece, this leg comes in a little far. I may have to notch out a piece. Since I'm bending left to right, I'm going to be constantly moving this that way. And with that, I'll have to cut out a little notch so that this can actually dip down past there a little bit. No big deal, it's just an old pipe bender. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out, and it's gonna work, and it's gonna work for what I need it to. So thanks for watching the video, hope this helped. Stay tuned if you want to watch this pontoon boat restoration and how I actually make these doors. You actually see this in use. Thanks, and God bless.